we'll see what happens. We'll ask on the audio. So anybody watching now, I'm glad you're here. Josh and I are doing some more poetry and music tonight, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. We enjoyed it so much last time and Josh has a lot more poems, so I have way less songs than he has poems. But I think we avoided repeats in general on my end. But yeah, so I'll just open us up, let a few more people connect. Open with a song from an album I put out called The Thread. A song called Like Wine, Like Bread. Like wine, you flow down bittersweet. Like bread, you soak up every need in me. This pain is finally received. Your love descends and I can't take it. Your grace has overwhelmed my being. I won't really live as long as you're living in me. My priestly robes don't remind me of your grace often enough. My inner thoughts don't reveal a desire to love. How did you take on flesh, take on the sun? How did you become my guts and still win? Like wine, you flow down bittersweet. Like bread, you soak up every need in me. This pain is finally received. Your love descends and I can't take it. This grace has overwhelmed my being. I won't really live till you're living in me. Suffering isn't foreign to me. Jesus, you were, but it's God. You know more than I could ever comprehend. As if you didn't know what it was like to fall through. As if you didn't have to learn to obey. Oh, high priest, praise me. I did this so selfishly. Be the sun I can never be. I won't let it. You're my happy. Like wine, you are really me.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the prelude.
Thanks for kicking us off.
How's audio coming through? I realized that Zoom has a little bit of a different audio processor, and it may be a little choppy. But how does it sound on your end?
It was coming through like consistently. It maybe sounded a little like warbly, but maybe it's just my computer. Who knows?
Okay, cool. We'll see. Yeah, if people again, there's a little bit of a delay for you guys listening between like what we're doing live and then when it hits YouTube, but not too much. So let me know if the audio is a little off. But for speaking, it should be fine. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for kicking us off. You want me to start us off with some poetry?
Please do. I'm
Right.
excited.
Thanks, man. I'm sharing a bunch of new stuff, as well as some older things that I had not really returned to in a long time. So this isn't mostly is stuff that hasn't really shown up anywhere. I haven't really shared it with a lot of people. So if it ever gets printed or published anywhere, it may end up in a very different form. But I wrote this first poem in a sort of a timed free writing exercise I did with some people earlier last week. So they told us to take 5 minutes and just write a poem about an ordinary object around us. And this is what I came up with. It is called Free and Clear. The clothesline has been wavering in the new spring air for weeks. It is a simple rope. It is a simple collection of clothespins. It is not even complex in its final composition. I was required to wait as storms passed, which would deny me my dryness. My few shirts, my hanging undergarments, and my wife's, our towels, which only our guests use, were all wet with rain. I did not acknowledge the seasons. I only mourned or whined that this was not in my control. Washing by machine at my whim, drying by the air, which is surely God's own breath. I long to sit in my own mundanity. I relish and wish to be as the detergent which cleanses one day from the next, free and clear. Thanks, everyone. I'm also gonna, it probably won't, I mean, I guess it'll show up right now in the chat. I'm gonna post a link that just has all of the
poetry.
All the stuff that I'm reading. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
It looks like Timothy says that you're kind of muffled. So I don't know. Do you have any ideas about what would help the audio be less muffled?
Yeah, let me let me try an experiment here while you read another couple poems, maybe, and I'll do that.
All right, so Graham's gonna try and get his audio better. I'm gonna read another poem that I wrote last week, actually. Yeah, and so like I said, if you click on that link in the chat, you can follow along if any of it is hard to understand or if you just want to look at it. But same as last time, don't read ahead because that's cheating. But it has all the poems that I'm planning on reading tonight. Okay, so I wrote this in last week. I don't really have a title for it yet. I'm just calling it The Bird Outside My Window. The bird outside my window is singing a song. It is red or it is blue. Its song is neither color, but it rhymes with a hymn I sang once too. The one that goes, Lord, Lord, I'm coming home. I do not know when this bird composed its requiem. I do not know how the hymn's writer found their home to be upon their arrival. Neither I nor the bird, whatever color it was, however I may have mistaken it to be our home, yet we sing. It is a wearisome argument to make with oneself, this bickering about destinations and belonging, and imagining where the road will lead beyond the front door, and looking back through that door to find a garden full of weeds and sand, of misremembered names and compasses pointing everywhere. Yeah, thanks for dropping in. Graham is still trying to figure out how to fix his audio, it looks like. So I've got to figure out how to, I don't know, vamp or improvise for a few minutes. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. As you may or may not know, April is National Poetry Month. So that's part of why Graham has been gracious to let me, I don't know, hijack his concerts and share some poems with y'all. Yeah, I've been writing poetry for about 5 years, and I've never really tried much to share it with people outside of sort of my immediate group of friends and family. But I think that that's made me a little bit worse off as a writer. So trying to be a little bit more open-handed with these things. Graham, you're still not there, are you?
I am here. You're doing great. I'm just trying to get it set up a little bit more.
Okay, you're fine. No, take your time.
Okay, cool. Yeah, read us another one.
All right, let me see what I can come up with. I'm
And
not gonna. Huh?
You can go to the next one in your set if you want to, and I can double up on songs or something like that.
I could here. I'll find one that was not even planned.
Ooh, exciting! Good.
See what I can come up with. Okay. Here's one that I think I've got some revising to do on it. But yeah, this is I wrote it for one of my nephews a couple of years ago. It's just titled "For a Nephew." Sorry you can't follow along. This was unplanned, but here we are. For a nephew. Your presence has always been a subtle one, and that by choice, it seems. This is not to say that your existence is not noteworthy so much as to say that you seek not to make yourself a centerpiece. But your heart, though it seems fragile, has seen hardship, showing itself to endure, not rugged as worn down by storm, nor hardened as a pressured gem, but as an ancient tree, a sycamore standing humble, standing tall as seasons change, for it draws its life from a deeper source. Continue to grow, sprout and give life. This is nothing new to you. Take heart and continue in your numinous way. Thanks. I have several nephews, and if you know them, you'll have to guess which one that's about. I've written poems about most of them, and I don't really, it's like a little inside game I've made where I don't really like specify which one is to whom. And so if anyone can figure it out, it's a secret puzzle, but also I've not really published any of the other ones either, so no one's read them. Hey Graham, how's it going?
It's very mysterious.
Thanks.
Hey, how did that sound?
Did you? I think it sounds better. I mean, the guitar. We'll see when the guitar comes in.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. We're gonna try this other way. The video feed is gonna be a little less great, but maybe the audio will be a little better. So we'll see what happens. So let me adjust this a little bit more. That was cool though. That was a fun little chance because I got to listen through to that last poem for your nephew. And that's really cool. I like that one a lot.
I don't think I've heard that one with you before.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, that's great. Well, before that, you read The Bird Outside My Window, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, this is just a little short song that I thought of while reading that one earlier today. It's also off the thread. It's a song called Rest. Lead us into your rest, until you come, until you come. Satisfy us in this desert with your love until you come. That's all of that one. How is the sound on that? Better?
It's amazing, actually. Yeah.
Oh,
Ely
great.
said it may be like the best audio of any of the live concerts we've tuned into with you since the sheltering at home or whatever. So
okay. Well,
not that
I'll
the other one sounded bad at all, but
I was about to say, wow, at least thanks a lot. I'm just kidding.
definitely an improvement over like 5 minutes ago, and maybe a marginal improvement over previous experiences.
That's great. Good to know. So, all right, we're back on track, guys. Thanks everybody who's tuning in to watch. I'm glad you are here. This is a little bit different format, but it's cool to still have like the comments and the live stream and be able to both see us and a little bit more connective and all that kind of stuff. So that's cool. I like this.
Yeah. Graham, I had planned on an extra poem next to try and give you time to tune, but I think I might skip the next one and just jump on to
go for it.
John.
Yes, I love that one.
Thanks. I was sort of experimenting with a format that I've tried a few times now. Basically, just the first word of each line, all the way down is sort of acrostic. It's they're just Bible verses. So, yeah. So this poem is called, for now at least, it's just called John, and I wrote it last summer. Peace these days seems hard to come by. I can't say that I've so much sought it out, but when I leave my home, I always hope to be greeted with some similar comfort, like you find in your quiet, secluded life. My home does not feature car horns blaring. Peace and quiet, please. I suppose I could try a bit more to seek it, to give some peace to you and to the next. I just wish it were a bit easier. Do birds consider it peace when flying, not grounded, not expected to give attention to each car horn, to every cry and shout? You are quick to remind me, as often as the world gives voice to its pain, do be sure to recall that not every cry is of sorrow. Let the world shout. Your ear does not always distinguish the heart's various vocalizations. Be then at peace. Be aware and divide the troubled and comforted cries and join in. Do you wish for peace, not only quiet, but peace too? Be in the world, but do not be afraid of the world. Thanks.
Yeah, I like that one. It's really cool. I thought I would follow up that poem with a song that's also kind of this search for peace in the midst of a lot of noise. And so it's the first track off the new record. It's a song called Small Things. Age is a fun thing. You think that you'll grow up into a better version of you. But I'm just not feeling it now. Feels more like I'm just breaking down. More like I'm just fading out. And I keep feeling like I'm fighting uphill battles left and right with no strength to survive them. I've been freaking out over the small things I won't ever change. They get stuck in me. I get somebody to help? 'Cause everything feels so wrong, like I'm trapped inside of the floor, where small things become so much more. And I can't stop now, though moments ago all was right. Now I can't even get to sleep tonight, still I lay and shine. And I keep feeling like I'm fighting uphill battles, left and right, with no strength to survive them. I've been freaking out over the small things I won't ever change. They get stuck in me, and I'm like, can I get somebody to help me? Someone help me. Could someone help me? 'Cause how was I supposed to know that the fog never fully clears? Where am I supposed to go, where these struggles disappear? Or can you really find me here? If I'm not alone, I don't need control to find the joy in my life, so I let it go, in the hope that you can find me here. If I'm not alone, I don't need control to find joy in my life, so I let it go, in the hope that you'll find me. And I keep feeling like I'm fighting uphill battles, left and right, with no strength to survive them. I've been freaking out over the small things I won't ever change. They get stuck in me, and I'm like, can I get somebody to help?
The song's so good, Graham. Thanks.
Thanks, man. I
And
appreciate
really,
it.
the audio sounds amazing. You're doing great.
Oh, good, good.
Oh,
I'm glad
enjoy.
we changed it. Thanks, Tim Livingston, for your suggestion and response. So good. Yeah, that was fun to play. Sometimes it's fun to play a song at a different like tempo, just a little bit, to kind of feel it out. And I kind of laid back on it. It kind of felt a little different. Anyways, that's free. That's me just thinking out loud. But all right, keep us going.
Yeah, let's I'm gonna read another poem. We'll see how this one goes. I I feel like whenever I read my poetry out loud, whenever I read things that are like rhythmic or have rhyme schemes, I sometimes sort of stumble over them. So we'll see how this one goes. It's also untitled. There are lots of poems in here that I haven't really figured out what I want to do with yet, so I haven't really titled them yet either. But I wrote this in November. Get up, I waited for the Lord to say, for guidance to complete the task ahead. I prayed for signs and to be clearly led down sometimes narrow, sometimes crooked way. A sign I need before I go or stay, for fear of wandering from the Lord's desire. A while and unaware I wait and pray, yet time consumes the wick of spirit's fire. A prayer quick turns from fervent to instead a cage as I, content within my bed, convinced of my devotion to the Lord, refuse my soul to fall upon the sword of God's sure declaration of his word, which calls us each to wade amidst the mire, lest we, content to rest and bow our head and waste another of the Lord's own days.
So good. That might be one of my favorites of them, partly because it's you're talking about the rhyme scheme of that one. Did you say what the structure of that one is? Is there like a formal structure to that one?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember what it is.
No, you're good. It reminds me. I don't know what it is, but it's one of those that, like, I was looking at it again more intently today because I remember reading it, I think, a while back, but maybe not. But it has that rhyme scheme where it kind of takes those rhymes and brings them all back in that last stanza. I really like that. It's a cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting form because each like stanza has basically 2 rhymes in it, but the first 3 stanzas all like the pattern is different, so it goes A B B A A B A B A A B B, and then at the end, the last stanza doesn't have any rhyming, but it has all of the same like things that rhyme in the previous ones. So
yeah, I like it. It's a cool structure. It's
fun to play with.
Well, this is not like that because this is like an old song with very like stream of consciousness lyrics that don't have a really cool rhyme scheme that I don't think anyways. But nevertheless, thematically a song that I thought of. It's a song called North or South on a record that you and I both played on. And I remember actually doing a
out there of just the 2 of us playing to like the original recording of the song.
Didn't we try to do like a music video this one in Raleigh somewhere or something like that?
Yeah.
I feel like that happened. I think that's right. You're on a djembe. Well, I have no djembe tonight. Josh will have to just do like djembe on his knees or something while I play it, or not. We won't do that. Also, it's been a long time since I played this, so forgiveness. So sorry. Let's see if we can do it though. We take off. Let me try it again. Here we go. We wake up, we take off. We don't remember much at all about the words we said last night. We gather in full like a thermos, but when the coffee's gone, I'm not full. It just was passing me along. If I could sit here, I likely would. And if I could rest, you know, I'd love to take the chance. But oh, this middle ground is a mess. So if I'm to move it, oh, I better have another side. I feel a calling, something higher. I feel there's something more to this than some kind of balancing act. So test the tower and see them scatter in confusion, and I'm beginning to think we built on similar sand. If I could sit here, I likely would. And if I could rest, you know, I'd love to take the chance. No, this middle ground is a mess. So if I'm to move it all, I better have another side. Oh, if I'm to move it all, I better have another side.
Good stuff, man.
Thank you. That's North or South, minus the instrumental part that I don't remember how to play, and minus the verse about being a college kid, because I'm not a college kid anymore. So I feel like there's a reason for that omission, but maybe that's not acceptable. But we'll see what y'all think.
Before I read this next poem, I want to tell you guys just if you notice me like fidgeting with this necklace, I am a fidgety person. And I was gonna comment when Graham joked about me playing djembe on my knees that in the last show, Elise was gonna comment in the chat that like every single song you played, I was just like drumming on surfaces while you played because I just am like that. Anyway, but
Awesome.
I don't know how everyone else is holding up in the days of being stuck at home. Hopefully you're healthy and hopefully things are going well. We were having a period where we were feeling like things were blurring together, and we're having a couple of just like rough days. And whenever you have a lot of like hard days, it makes it hard to remember that there were good days. And so we started this project where we taped a bunch of pieces of paper on our wall, and we're just writing down every moment that's like makes us happy or is memorable or is good. So that included putting a little check mark every time that we laugh, and that got too tedious. So I'm wearing this, which is it's a knitting thing Elise has. You put it on a needle and you can count the rows, but I just put a little check every time that one of us laughs. And then at the end of the day, we write the number down. So I hope you all can come up with some sort of creative way to frame all of this time as positively as you can, because even whenever things feel dark, there is sunshine and God is still at work. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and read something that I wrote so I don't have to come up with words on the spot, which I'm bad at. This next poem, again, I wrote it last week and it is still untitled. And I was just trying to, I don't know, say something about like the idea of like, I know a lot of people who've gone through various degrees of like deconstructing and reconstructing their faith. And I was trying to just write something that spoke to like the idea of faith growing and changing over time. So this was just an attempt that I put together, and we'll see. I don't know, if you like it, let me know. I believe that when I release one thing, I tend to take hold of another. I have adopted an old word for this practice. When I was younger, I knew many things, which now I do not. I was arrogant to call my intuitions knowledge, but call them I did. On several occasions, my knowledge tore down, though I knew myself to be building. I have never known myself well. I did not know the life of discernment, of the many changing grips as one climbing, clinging to rocks for dear life. I know that my handholds are a matter of death and life. I know that this is the case for you and me today. I know that this is the case at the end of these long, long days. But when I was young, I knew only of this final mattering. I suspect that I have, incidentally, let some things go which I might have needed for this journey, or set down one thing, forgetting to take up that which belonged properly in its place. But all my prayers have been to know where my hands should be along this climb, which is to say, what to be holding when the sun has set. To learn to sift the truths from the untruths, to hold loosely the things that do not glimmer as the morning dew with grace.
It's great, man. Really well written. Love that one.
Thanks.
I think taking the theme from that poem and that idea, and knowing friends and others who have struggled in different ways with that journey and with that process. One of the main themes of this new album, The Story's Still Alive, and definitely stems from the title track, is that sort of hope that even in the midst of that process, and in the midst of wrestling with faith, that there's sort of the rock face that we can all cling on to. And of course, as a Christian, believing that that's Christ. And so, so this is a song called The Story's Still Alive.
sounds too much like fairy tale to be true. And our broken world, by its physics, spins aloft. And some days I know it feels like faith has flown away from you. And then years go by without you ever feeling a spark. But don't you know the story's still alive in you? We have this hope. There is no shadow where his light cannot shine through. He's with you when you're in this darkness too. So don't let the story die in you. Somewhere I hope there's gonna be a place where we can run, where these dungeon doubts get dispelled like the clouds at dawn. But somehow, and for so long, there's only been gray over the sun. And you wonder, has it ever really shown? But don't you know the story's still alive in you? We have this hope. There is no shadow where his light cannot shine. He is with you when you're in this darkness too. So don't let the story die in you. Every breath your lungs have taken's a gift to you. Every step your feet will take is faith on faith on faith on faith. 'Cause every time that you look up and you see the star is burning, don't you see how the light so far away can pierce this night just to reach you, even if you don't know if the story's still alive in you. Oh, to cling to hope. There is no shadow where his light cannot shine through. Even if it takes a lifetime to prove, don't let the story die.
Scram,
Thank you.
are you taking requests? Should we see if people
Ooh,
want to
have there
play
been?
something? I don't think
Any-
anyone's given any requests, but I don't know if people know that they're allowed to request music. 'Cause last time we were on like a tight schedule, but Graham knows all the songs, so just boss him around, tell him to play whatever you want.
That's right. We'll see what happens. I'll watch the chat. These songs have been specially curated to match up with Josh's poetry, which is a fancy way of me trying to avoid playing requests. But I just might do it.
I'm throwing you under the bus there.
No, that's great. Please do. That's awesome.
Do you have at some of your shows you've mentioned previously, if people wanted to like, I don't know, tip you as if this were a real live show, you had like a Venmo? Do you want to? This is me giving you an opening to.
Thanks. Yeah. That's super nice. I can I'll put a Venmo handle or name in the chat there. Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. It's a weird time for sure for music because it's kind of all existing in this sphere, and that's great, but it has its challenges. And of course, I think I start to get that the live stream fatigue sometimes with all the different concerts and stuff like that going on. And but all that said, that's one reason I really love doing this, because it's unique and fun, and it's great to hear your poetry and art as well, and get to do this together, Josh. So thanks for doing that. But yeah, if you guys want to throw some tips my way, that would be amazing. I'll put that in the handle or in the chat for Venmo. But yeah, I normally do kind of a part-time gig of nursing home gigs, but since those are all on lockdown, I haven't been able to do those. I was hoping I was gonna have a chance to do some like outdoor concerts, bring a speaker and like have them all roll down their windows or roll up their windows. Not roll, it's not a car. But anyways, open their windows and listen. But those got canceled too, sadly. So, but all good. Everybody trying to be cautious and stay safe, which is the point. So, but anyways, that was unplanned. I'm gonna stop talking now and let Josh talk words that are very pretty.
Wow. Yeah, I'll read another poem. I don't know if you saw, Preston requested both Untitled and the Hippo song, and I forgot about the Hippo song, so that's very exciting. But also Untitled would be thematic, since like half the poems I've read have yet to be titled. So I don't know if you are capable of playing these songs, and I'm sorry to once again throw you under the bus, but I just felt like I needed to point out that it unfortunately does sort of match the theming nature of this.
I'll give you that. Yeah, we'll see what I can do. Yeah, we'll see what I can do.
All right, I'm gonna read this poem. It's kind of short, and it's just called 9 Times. 9 times out of 10, the dog does not catch the car, and the storm's snow does not provide the child's escape from the school day. The exception, which proves the law, is the light of each day. Monotony steered just 1 degree off its path, a day whose expectations and normalities eclipse the sun. But the sun blazes at the edges. That's it.
Yeah, that's a great one, man. I was thinking of that one actually in some ways when you were talking about finding beauty in the midst of this time, and what you guys have been doing, tracking positive moments and laughs and all that kind of stuff. I love that. That's great. This song's kind of like that in a way. It's trying to find beauty in the midst of grief, and it kind of works for today too, because it's been really stormy around here in Arlington. So this is a song called Cumulonimbus. Burst right open with hope on the wing, but I've hemmed in like the snow of Caradras all of the plans you had. And I wish I were as wise as the wizard, so I could bring you my timely advice. But I've got nothing but tears for your sadness here on the other side. But you carry life in those lungs, and it's seldom lightweight. So don't fear our cumulonimbus. Sometimes your rain becomes someone else's grace. People run to attack all their problems. Honesty's just a title they take, 'cause they're not open and don't wanna solve them. Truth wears a mask of shame. If you give love that's as wide as the ocean, you might get left in the loneliest place. But
don't you dare try to bottle it up, 'cause I'm gonna find you there. 'Cause you carry life in those lungs, and it's seldom a lightweight. So don't fear or cumulonimbus. Sometimes your rain becomes someone else's grace. There's no storm that's meaningless. Rest will come soon. There's will in this water for a new life, but most good things sprout unseen. So don't give up on the rainmaker, for he hides grace in the wildest things.
It's good, Graham. It's a good song.
Thanks, man.
I think that might be Elise's favorite song off your new album.
Oh, really? Oh, that's very kind. That last little part was like an early edit version of that song, and I added it in there because that poem is called Wild, and
Yeah.
it explicitly says sometimes God hides grace in the wildest things. So I was like, I will never get to play this probably any other opportunity, so I'll do it
That's
here.
great. Yeah. I think I'd actually planned on reading this next poem before you sang that song, and I think reading after. So
Great.
I got my notes mixed up, and that's fine because
I love it.
clearly we know what we're doing here.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks for bearing with us, everyone. This is fun. Yeah, so this next poem is called Wild, as Graham just mentioned. Wild and terrible the night may be, though full of shadows and of creatures vile, and noises which in mystery beguile. The darkness hides a silence that is free, and nonplussed by the day's anxiety, a silence rests behind the cryptic style of hooting owl and woodland creature, while the shadows shift. The solid, steadfast tree waits patiently for morning to begin, when shadows flee for daylight's warm embrace, and life fills up the tree in every leaf. The wild things are not fearsome, but akin to somber resignation in the place of bearing fruit amidst the forest's grief. Thanks, everyone. That was supposed to be a sonnet as I wrote it, and I think that the more and more I've tried to write sonnets, the more I realized that I've just been taking a lot of liberties with actual rules for how you write poems. So yeah, thanks.
It's okay. Somebody at some point was breaking the rules to make a sonnet, so
That's fair. Don't tell the people who are monitoring during National Poetry Month that I did my poem. So
I won't. Scout's honor. Got it. Yeah. So I didn't even realize that because I was listening and was hearing the 9 times out of 10 poem and then was thinking wild. I don't know why. So that's silly of me. But nevertheless, this is the song that went with that one. Or it goes with wild. Who knows why we mix it up, but it's great. This is a song that was written kind of too recently to make it on the album. At least I think that's right. I think this is the one I planned for this one. Yeah, it's a song called "When I Fall Down," and it's still kind of. Do what?
I don't know if I've heard this song.
Yeah, I don't know if you have. It's definitely newer, like a year or so old, maybe. and it's kind of still unfinished in some ways in my mind, but yeah. So this is When I Fall Down.
When I awake, my body aches. When I try standing, I feel my weight, like my own planet's out to get me. On my best days, when I'm unafraid, I still have to accept that I cannot do everything. My nicest smile and my most helpful phrase cannot hope to defend me from the evil I create. But when I fall down, you catch me. When I'm weak, you are strong. And at first, how I hated feeling selfless and alone. But like a star, I couldn't see out in the city. And like a song, I couldn't pick out in the crowd. Like a love, I couldn't feel until I missed it. I am finding you in brokenness now, and I cry without knowing how much I needed to, as you bring the most beautiful relief. 'Cause I don't have to become my own hero. I come alive, as crazy as it seems. Oh, when I fall down, when I fall down, oh, when I fall down, when I fall down.
Good, Graham. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks, man. Maybe it'll get recorded someday, eventually.
I bet you're just anxious to get recording the next album, aren't you?
It's funny, yes and no. The writing, yes. The other parts, I can breathe for a minute and enjoy this part of the process. So,
Yeah,
but it is funny. It's been interesting to notice too that related to that, like, I feel like I've kind of seen this too with you. Maybe this isn't true, but like since doing some of these, I feel like you've been writing like several more and that kind of thing. So sometimes like when you're sharing stuff, it kind of makes you want to write more because you're like, oh man, here's this idea or that, or you kind of get into that motion again. So I feel that too in different ways. But anyways,
yeah, definitely. I think that of the many good motivators for creativity, having deadlines can be a good one. Feeling like people are expecting you to write something can sometimes works.
It's true, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read another poem. This one, sort of like the poem I read that I wrote for my nephew earlier. This one is titled "For a Friend," and that's as specific as I'm gonna be. For a friend. You would pick up your guitar most days and you would sing with vitality, and you would put on an expression as one in the very presence of God. And you would step onto the stage, and you would voice your humility, and you would ask for help, and you would receive it. You would seek beauty, truth that could only, it seemed, be found in the farthest reaches of the made world. You would long for adventure, and you would find it, or it would find you, and I pray that it's found you well, and that you would be found.
It's good.
Thanks.
It's about Daisy, our dog, right?
You nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time she gets up on that stage with her guitar.
That's right. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I like that one. This is kind of an odd song choice to couple with it, but thinking of seeking adventure and that sort of journey, and yet for me reading it and seeing like the heart of it being shared with a friend, this is a song that kind of wrestles with the tension between going somewhere, and yet the going and the somewhere is often only valuable with the person, so to speak, and in an ultimate sense with God. So it's a song called More Than the View.
There are places in the cosmos where there's beauty in the corners. Many dreamers become foreigners to see, because their homes had all the problems, only leaving didn't solve them. Will you help me? I don't wanna be deceived, 'cause if you're not there, then I don't need it. And if you won't come along, I don't wanna walk that way. So if you're still here, then please don't leave me, 'cause I wanna be with you more than the view. Out of fire, heard you calling. In my failures, I was falling, but you knew it, so you came round to declare. Breaking pavement, shutting shutters, closing doors, opening others. Now I'm thankful as I'm looking up ahead. 'Cause if you're not there, then I don't need it. If you won't come along, I don't wanna walk that way. So if you're still here, then please don't leave me, 'cause I wanna be with you more than the view. Would you find me in this moment? Take these hands and lead me only where you are. 'Cause to be honest, I feel broken. I've been searching, I've been hoping. So if you're moving, will you stop and show me where? 'Cause if you're not there, then I don't need it. If you won't come along, I don't wanna walk that way. So if you're still here, then please don't leave me, 'cause I wanna be with you, wanna be with you. If you're not there, then I don't need it. If you won't come along, I don't wanna walk that way. So if you're still here, then please don't leave me, 'cause I wanna be with you more than the you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're coming up on the end of this, huh? I think we've got.
I know. Time flies when you're reading and singing and stuff.
It does.
I feel like one of these days we do one of these and we should just, freak everybody out and swap it up, and I'll read one of your poems and then you'll play one of my songs on your new guitar.
Yeah, we could do that. Or you could pick one of my poems and like put it to music, and I could pick some really obscure one of your old songs and just read it as if it's a poem.
Or like write a poem. I guess it'd be kind of weird to like write a poem from that because it's already like there's lyrical stuff. But usually I feel like lyrics and music sometimes, depending on the song, it's kind of like a poem light, like sometimes a poem can like do what a song can't in terms of the words that are used and the flow of it, words that I can't say.
You have fewer boundaries, which having fewer boundaries tends to also mean that you're a lot freer to make bad art. So you win some and you lose some.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that.
All right, so I'm gonna read another poem. This one is very short. It is only 6 lines. I'm reading it by request. Preston asked me to read it last time, so I'm just gonna read it. And also, I just noticed that we'd originally scheduled this for Thursday night, but we had to reschedule because we had something else going on. But this poem I wrote on April 30th, 4 years ago, so almost to the day.
So cool.
I know, uncanny timing. All right, Graham, it's a short poem, so you ready to go? All right, this is called With Friends. Winding down without fanfare, but full of joy is a day spent with the closest. And belonging is this very feeling. Camaraderie without applause. I'm grateful. I'm loved.
That's a good one. Good suggestion, Preston. I love that one. This feels like an unworthy song to follow that in some ways thematically, because it's so, I love the theme of that. This is kind of taking like an aspect of it and running with it. But this is a song called Carry Your Heart, and really I think it's like where it lands at the end of the song is what I thought of with this poem, which is just that, I guess, if I had to boil it down to kind of a single sentence, which it's just to say like God carries us so that we can help carry our hearts to others and sort of be incarnational ourselves as the kingdom. And so so that poem reminds me of that and reminds me of Carry Your Heart in a weird way. So here you go.
Do all of your ends feel frayed and tired, like the weight of the world has quenched the fire in you? Like the grip of electricity, are you trapped inside anxiety's control? Do you feel that ache on the inside? Do you know the one who takes it? He can carry your heart. He can carry your heart. He can carry his cross to the place of his skull. He can carry your faith to the depths of your soul. He can carry your heart. He can carry your heart. Even death couldn't make his body stay bare. Then the one who loved you better than any other can carry your heart. Is everything you've ever done wrong hanging strapped on your back, just dragging you down to hell? Do you know that there's a narrow climb that the weakest and the weariest take to find relief? Do you feel that weight hanging on you? Do you know the one stay buried, and the one who loved you better than any other can carry your heart. Now don't you know the children of the freedom are the ones who can dance at the valleys and mountains of life? But don't you know the burden of the free is to go and be the hands and the feet of the one who brought them all to life? As their lungs ring out the light. He can carry your heart. He can carry your heart. So stand up, child, live up to your call. Look to the one who is desperate and falling, and carry your heart. Go and carry your heart. 'Cause if you have joy and peace in Christ, would you look to your neighbor and lift up his eyes? When he asks where to look for the joy that's inside, say, the one who loved you better than any other can carry your heart. Oh, he can carry your heart.
Good song.
Thanks, man. I feel like my computer, so I switched over to my computer for the better audio so I could use a mic, and I don't know if you can hear it, but the fan is just going like
Oh no.
100 miles an hour. Like it's like stay alive, stay alive. So we're doing good, I think. I think everything's still going through. So
Good, good. Yeah.
man, this has
sounds
been
great
so
over
much fun. Thanks you guys for tuning in tonight.
here. Yeah. It's nice to have some support and feel like people are getting a little bit of life out of these things that we've been trying to create. Yeah, it's encouraging.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that I'm gonna read one last poem, and that's more or less gonna be the night. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all we have planned on this time. But if y'all enjoy this, let us know, and we'll do it again sometime, because like we said at the beginning, Josh has plenty of great poems, and I can probably get by on repeating a few songs here and there. So plus it's fun. I get to hang out with my friends, so I enjoy this. I feel like it's kind of unfair how fun it is in some ways, but I'm glad you guys seem to enjoy it too. So
The win-win for us.
that's right, for sure.
All right. So this poem, it's my National Poetry Month moment. It's a villanelle, which I read a villanelle last time as well. And the last two lines of the first stanza alternate as repeating as the last line of each following stanza until the end. And it's just one of my favorite poetic forms. And it was the first villanelle I ever wrote, and I don't think it's the best one that I've ever written. But I wrote it, and it was in a time where I was just not feeling very good about my writing, and I shared it with Graham and with my wife, and they were really encouraging. So I thought I would share it with you all, because you all have been very encouraging to me as well. So this poem is called Today. Today, the day is long with fear. I step out my front door into the wild. Tomorrow, I'm heading home from here. Anxiety and grace both drawing near. By both, I am in turn beguiled. Today, the day is long with fear. I ought to be inspired by the sheer potential of today, as if a child. Tomorrow, I'm heading home from here. The path ahead seemed bright, seemed clear just yesterday, now has been roiled and riled. Today, the day is long with fear. Death comes yet first, then seeds appear, a new world coming, true though wild. Tomorrow, I'm going home from here. Though these rain clouds bid us drear, the rain bids nature reconciled. Today, the day is long with fear. Tomorrow, I'm going on home from here. Thanks, guys.
Ugh, that one's so good, man. I'm glad you ended with that one. Might be one of my favorites.
That's kind of you.
It is one of my favorites. Might be my favorite. That's what I meant to say. I was like, I think I've said that about like all of them.
I'll take it.
So good, man. Thanks, guys, for tuning in tonight. This was a lot of fun. Oh, I failed. I'm gonna get in trouble from all these people that love me, specifically Josh and Elise and Bethany, if I don't put the
yeah, give Graham some money.
Yeah, please don't. But it, I mean, yeah, this is that awkward part. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the night, tip and suggest, and yeah, and I know Andy Goldhorn is an artist, and he's been been saying, yeah, if you'll give anywhere from $20 to $500,000, then I'll do a request based on the amount that was given or whatever. So we're not doing that because that would be rude. But all the same, thanks for your support and for getting on here, listening, and commenting. That goes further than anything else to me, and I'm sure to Josh as well. So we love you guys. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Any other last comments, Graham?
I think that's it, man. This has been fun. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again.
Yeah. There's like a 20-second delay between us